What up, y'all? Whoa. What up, y'all? Babylon 5 podcast. It's your boy Jermaine Event. I don't know what just happened there. It sounded like it was like 1, 2, 3, 4 on repeat. I didn't understand what was happening there. Damn. So I'm recording this episode right now, but not live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to record the video. I'm going to upload it to YouTube, possibly. Well, I'm going to share that video to Facebook from YouTube, but figured why not get some content on YouTube as we move forward. Some FaceTime thing just popped up. It's never popped up before, but it needed to pop up as I'm recording this for the first time. So that's that. What's up? Babylon 5 podcast, episode 35. It's your boy Jermaine Event. How are you guys doing? It's nice to see you guys again. Nice. Thank you guys for checking in, for listening. Hope you guys are doing well, taking care of yourself, your family. Stay home if you can. Work from home if you can. If you got to go out, do everything you can to stay healthy, you know. Follow social distancing rules. Do everything you have to in order to keep yourself and those around you safe. Do your thing. It's Babylon 5 Podcast. I'm your host, Jermaine Event. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys social medias. If you want to follow the podcast on Instagram and Twitter, it's at Babylon 5 Pod. If you want to follow my personal accounts, that handle would be at my name's Jermaine. If you want to email the podcast for whatever reason, it's babylon5podcast@gmail.com. You can follow the podcast at babylon5.podbean.com. You can listen to this podcast on Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, nigga, pretty much anywhere podcast stream, my guy. If you want, we got merch. If you want to check out the merch, go to teespring.com/store/BOFpod-shop. All right? Check out the merch. We got all kinds of shit. I think we got infant clothes. We got clothes for infants on there. Hoodies. I fucks with the hoodies. I don't personally have any merch. I've kept forgetting, and then the pandemic happened, and I was like, now I'm personally paranoid about ordering things from these. But if you guys just check it out, keep it in mind. When this is over, go ahead and buy something, or if you feel compelled to purchase something right now, go ahead, you go check out the music. Go stream Pandemic by your boy Jermaine Event. Check it, support that way. If you feel the need to support. Or go check out the Teespring shop. We got hoodies, we got shirts. We got everything, purchase it whenever. Just check it out, why not? Check it out. If you want to watch me stream, I've got a few, I think I got a few videos. I've done a few streams, but when I go on my app, I don't see the videos out there. So I'm like, where is the content? So I've done some streams. People, they check in and they check out. They come in. They're slipping in, slipping out. Everybody's having a good time. And, yeah, you guys can check it out. It's twitch.tv/Babylon5. Been playing a lot of Skyrim lately. I purchased Skyrim maybe a few weeks ago. And I remember when it first came out, I played through it, but I was like, drinking a lot at the time, smoking a lot at the time, and I was in school working full time, like third shift. So as I'm playing the game this time, I'm like, whoa, this is a lot more. Because I bought the game thinking like it's cool for a little bit, but just like that, you get through the main quest, which is just like the war. You get through the war pretty quickly, which I thought was lame. Which I thought, or maybe it is like the main quest, but on a grand scheme of things, it's kind of foul. But now I've just decided I'm just gonna do other things. I got the special edition that I bought 3 weeks ago that comes with all the DLC, with all the you got crossbows and shit, which is pretty dope. But there's this other random nigga on this other fucking land from DLC content who is also Dragonborn and has this mythical power. They motherfuckers was holding me down with this mythical power, teleporting me to this other realm. All I'm saying, my nigga, is I purchased this game thinking, oh, let me just run through it real quick and it'll be some interesting Twitch content. And now I'm like, fuck, there's a lot more to this game that, like, upon first play, I didn't really pay attention to. I was just kind of like, with a sword. I was out here with my sword, just hacking and slashing. I remember running up on a giant when I was like level 10 and thinking this was like I had not, for whatever reason, encountered a giant until I was like level 10 on first playthrough, and I just ran up to it and started hacking and slashing. I think I hit it like once, and it turned and hit me once, and I was dead off of that one hit. So I think my body like bounced off the ground. I was like, what the fuck? So I was just running through hacking and slashing about it like back then, and now I'm like playing the game and like looking at what's actually going on, and I'm like, holy shit, this game evolves so much if you really want it to. If you really, like, I just worked out a deal where the Empire took over Riften from the Stormcloaks, which I didn't want to do because I was going to join the Stormcloaks, but I was like, that's just kind of fair. I didn't decide that I was going to join the Stormcloaks until after I brokered that deal. Anywho, niggas is streaming on Twitch. Go ahead and check the shit out. I'm having fun with this special edition of Skyrim. If you niggas want to come to Twitch. Once again, it's twitch.tv/Babylon5. I'm playing a lot of Skyrim. I started a career mode, if you will, a player on UFC 3. It's just me at 5'9", 145. Yeah, if you guys want to check it out, check out the stream. Why not? Come follow me. Playing some games. I just stream at random times. If I could set up a schedule. All right, I'll set up a schedule. I'll let you guys know when exactly I'll be there, so you guys can know when to actually tune in. I'll set up a schedule for you guys. I'm so sorry that I haven't so far. Interesting little tidbit here. The other day I got an email from a random motherfucker. All right, random ass nigga. I got an email from a random ass nigga the other day, and I instantly found it quite amusing, ladies and gentlemen. It said something like, yo, we hacked your PC, and like this is one of your passwords, and like, oh, it said and we recorded a video of you watching pornographic, or yeah, I think it said like I said like pornographic or adult material in like all caps. I'm just like, okay. Like, first off, I'm reading this like, what? Nigga, what? And it's like, yo, you gotta send 1,000 Bitcoin to, I don't know, somewhere, to some nigga. On some shit. Or they gonna send 5 people the video of me watching pornographic material. And I'm like, I'm sitting there like, what the fuck? Like, who sent me this dumbass email? Like, what is this dumbass email? I wasn't shook, ladies and gentlemen. I wasn't scared to death. I wasn't scared to look. I was not shook. Because ain't no such thing as these hacking ass crooks. No, it's real. It could be real. It could happen. Who knows? It could be real. A nigga could have a video that looks like this. It's just my hand. This is what I was saying to my coworker. I was like, what's the worst that video is going to look like? Just me from here up? Like, with like moving what looks like clearly he's masturbating. I'm imitating it right now in the video. So if you want to know what that looks like, You can check this out on YouTube. So like that's what it would look like. and I was like, and even if it's not, my nigga, drop that footage. I don't give no fucks, my nigga. That's my stance on that. $1,000? $1,000 to let niggas know it's real? I ain't, boy. I would be preventing motherfuckers from knowing it's real. So, nah. I was like, I emailed the nigga like, first off, if you guys want to know a little thing about Jermaine Event, want to know a little tidbit about Jermaine Event, I don't watch porn on my laptop. It's just something I'm not interested in. I'm never on my laptop when I'm working on things or whatever, and I'm like, let's put on porn on my laptop. I don't watch porn on my laptop. Also, before I ever had my own personal computer, oftentimes I would use a friend's personal computer, and I'd go on the internet and I'd type in one key and boom, I know what kind of porn they watch. All of like, that's one thing I've asked people. I try to tell people, if you know what kind of porn someone watches, you've learned more about that person than you could ever get from a conversation. You know what I'm saying? If you just learn what kind of porn that person watches, you'll know so much about that person. And I've seen it unfold. All right? I've seen it unfold. I've been on laptops. I've hit people. Oh, shit, bruh. All right. It's happened quite a few times. So I just don't watch porn on my laptop. It's, and I don't really watch it often. We quarantine 2020 out here, you know what I'm saying? It's quarantine 2020. All I'm saying is I thought this email was quite fucking hilarious, all right? Because I'm like, first off, I emailed him back, all right? I emailed this person back, and I was like, I said, first off, I don't watch porn on my laptop. Secondly, drop that footage. This is what the email said. I was like, drop it. And then I emailed him the next day, and I was like, because he said, he was like, yo, you got 24 hours to send the $1,000 in Bitcoin, or they would drop this footage. And I emailed him like right before the 24 hours. I was like, dude, make sure you send me that link so I can send it to more than 5 people. But as far as I know, either whoever he sent the video of me real close and sweaty, real close and sweaty, sweating profusely in front of the webcam, whoever he sent that video to probably didn't care or was just so fucking disgusted. They did nothing with it. It would have looked like this. It would look like that, but just with a lot of condensation. You know what I'm saying? Let me switch this. Fucking my phone charger fucked up, so I gotta use my laptop. My MacBook charger actually works with my Galaxy, but now I'm in a little pickle right now. I'm in a dilly of a pickle, my nigga, where my phone, I didn't charge it. It's at 38%. I think that'll last me. I'm at 38%. My laptop was starting to get into the red there, so I was like, let me switch it. But then my phone it's like 2 years old, and it's getting kind of shitty to where it doesn't catch a proper charge. So it should have been at like probably 70, 80 by then. But I guess I wasn't paying attention, and I slightly bumped it. And so it's at 38%. But I think that'll be enough. I think that will be enough. If you did receive that video of me watching pornographic material, go ahead and send it to me, man. I'm interested. I want to see that footage. I want to say that I looked up this scam. I looked up what was sent to me, and it was all the articles saying the same thing. Like, people are falling for these scams because we live in a time where people just assume that they have no privacy. So when someone says they have this footage of you doing these things, and like they send like this slightly like general information that's like, whoa, if they knew this, then they have to know everything else. That all this other thing has to be true. Like, they just assume when most likely it's not. And it's like, fucking contact the FBI if you actually feel like it's a real situation, if you're worried. Me, myself, I had no worries. It's like, go ahead and drop that footage, my guy. But, so if you have any worries, like, I would say contact authorities, but definitely don't pay these crazy ass niggas, because it's usually some bullshit. I don't know, it's just a scam. Look it up. Google, do some searches before you dumbass niggas just, like, I wonder how many people that shit worked on where they just send somebody $1,000 in Bitcoin. Then I was thinking, like, what's the fucking currency? You know what I'm saying? What's the currency on that shit? A high ass nigga. No, what's the currency on that difference? It'd be like a lot more than 1,000 regular dollars. I think at this point, with the way the rates are, you'd have to. It'd be like 1,500. Be like 1,500. You know what I'm saying? Oh shit. I don't know why doing that voice right there made me think I should have threw in here. Louis C.K. just dropped a special called Sincerely Louis C.K. It's fucking hilarious. I fucking giggled my ass off. I was gonna re-record last week's episode and then throw it in there, but I decided not to, just for whatever reason. And I think out of being purely lazy. It's Quarantine 2020, ladies and gentlemen. Quarantine 2020. And I'm out here sipping this Mad Dog 2020. So I just never got around to re-recording it, so I used the audio that I said throughout the episode that I probably was not going to use. I used it. You know what's cool? I got this logo here. I didn't mention this. So I'm just recording it. I couldn't figure out last week. I wanted to do the live stream and have that logo there in the corner, but I couldn't figure out how to get the live stream of this. I gotta like take some time, and maybe Thursday, my next off day, I'll do some Googles. Do your Googles, nigga. And I'll try to figure out how to get this thing to stream. But for now, I'm just gonna record it here and then upload it afterwards. I feel a little more comfortable with that anyways, ladies and gentlemen. But Louis C.K. dropped a new special, Sincerely Louis. As far as I know, it's only available off of his website. I think it's about $8. It's fucking hilarious. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. He touches on the masturbation case or accusations. I mean, he admitted that the masturbation claims were true. He admitted that. So it's not like accusations. It's the masturbation incidents, if you will. All right? If you will. He mentioned it briefly, and I felt like, I was like, all right, that was enough, I guess. You know? From his stance, if that's how he felt about it. Like, what more could you ask for from this individual? I feel like that was all he needed to say on that. And whoever wishes to work with this individual going forward, do it. If you don't. You know what I'm saying? But I felt like the special was hilarious. It had its real dark moments. But I think every Louis C.K. special has its dark moments. His SNL special, or his monologue, the first one was fucking just god-awful dark. It was biblical dark. All right, it was dark as the fucking Bible. That's how dark it was. I don't even want to talk about it, but it was dark, and he had some dark moments in He had some dark moments in Sincerely Louis C.K. It's fucking hilarious, though. I giggled my way through that motherfucker, all right? I giggled my black ass through that motherfucker. And I would suggest you guys go out there, drop that $8 and do the same, all right? Do the same. Maybe I'll, if you guys play your cards right, maybe I'll do a reaction video right here. Is that not why this is here? Is that not why this is here, ladies and gentlemen? And since I paid the $8, I'll probably be like one of the first niggas to have reaction videos to the jokes. So I think I just might do it. Just might have to do that pretty quick here. You know what's funny? What I saw in the news that Donald Trump is putting together a task force to restart the economy, featuring Vince McMahon and Dana White. And those three are going to have a 6-man tag match in a steel cage versus DX versus D-Generation X for world domination. And I fucked that up. I had this whole joke. It was like Trump, Vince McMahon, Dana White, and they're taking on DX and the NWO in a steel cage for world domination. That was the joke. But I fucked it up. And nah, man. So I looked it up, and it's like just hella rich white old dudes. It's like Jerry Jones, and I think I don't want to say whoever the commissioner of the NBA is. I don't remember which one is alive and which one just died. So I want to say whoever the bald guy, he's part of that. How do you get his job? What qualifies you to run the NBA? So Trump has a task force of billionaire white men. Is Dana White a billionaire? I don't know. He just got a lot of rich niggas. He got his homies. He got his homies in a task force to restart the economy. Trump is on Twitter goading governors to reopen their states, reopen the economy. It's fucking ridiculous. I don't understand it. I don't know why I wrote my notes this way. I don't understand. People are starting to protest. So Trump is doing this nonsense, and people are starting to protest around America that their liberties are being taken away. As I said before, none of their liberties are being taken away. Their luxuries. They can't play with their toys. Their luxuries are being taken away for the most part. I wasn't trying to say it last time, but looking at the footage from around America, everything, like now everybody's out there in the open, you know, it's unadulterated white supremacy out there. It's crazy. People are out there with the Confederate flags, all their guns. I mean, it's a peaceful protest, but yeah, they're out there with guns, standing on the steps of federal buildings with Confederate flags. It's pretty wild. And I think it's interesting because I saw some of these people, like, they're out there protesting to open the state, and they're arguing that their argument is that hospitals are empty and that the news is lying, and like there's no stats to support that there's a need for a quarantine. And half of these people are wearing a mask and shades and gloves. Y'all are all, like, half of y'all are protesting that there is no airborne virus while you're there wearing everything to protect yourself from whatever you could and most likely are going to catch from attending that event. Like, I want y'all to look at yourselves. Like, put your mask on, put your shades on, put your gloves on, and say, there is nothing going on. All right? It's lies. And just make sure you got it on. All right, make sure you got the mask on, because there's nothing going on, right? There's no reason for a quarantine. Why else would you be there wearing a mask and gloves and shades if you're not following the CDC guidelines in order to prevent yourself from catching this infectious disease, but yet you want everything to open? You're not out there protesting for a rent freeze. You're not out there protesting for universal health care. You're not out there protesting for a change in the system. Like, I'll extend an olive branch, because the way I see it, it's like on the one side, these older people, they're bitter over the fact that when they were younger, they were told, like, in order to have A and B, all these necessary things, you have to hit these checkpoints. And once you hit those checkpoints, then these things become available for you. You have to, it's like Skyrim. You have to raise your level, get those skill points. And once you unlock those things, then these capabilities now become available for you. All right. So that's what they were told. They were told you have to work your job for this long in order to get this, in order to qualify for that. You have to work this many hours. And now you're telling those same people who have lived their whole life trying to just like follow that system, and like universal health care, universal health care. This isn't a new idea. This is something that people have been trying to accomplish for a long time. I think a lot of them would see that as a pipe dream and something that people have been trying to attempt for a while, and it wouldn't work out. So like they see it as a pipe dream. It's not something to really strive for. So they're stuck in their ways, and they're bitter that they had to work for so many years. It took so long for them to achieve those things, and now we're like, just give it to everybody just because. So I see their bitterness. I understand that you can't teach an old dog new tricks mentality of it all. I hate when people are like, oh no, he's stuck in his ways. It's like, bro, you mean you're fucking immature? Like, that's all you're saying to me when they say, oh, they're stuck in their ways. This means you're fucking dumb. You're immature. Fucking don't do that. When you're presented with more valid information than what you currently know, don't just be like, nope, I'm sticking to the bullshit that I know right now to be bullshit, even though I'm given this new information. No, my nigga, it's okay to change your opinion if it makes sense. It makes sense. So fucking don't just hold tight to nonsense for the sake of nonsense. That's what I'm saying here. You should, instead of holding on to that bitterness, why not fight, join the other side, and fight for a better quality of life for everyone. That's what I'm about. Let's fight for a better quality of life for everyone. That's why I supported Andrew Yang. It was never not left, not right before. I'm not like gonna rob Peter to pay Paul. Like, pay everybody equally. Is that socialism? I don't care, nigga. I think universal basic income works, and I'm not saying like, oh, you're trying to pay doctors and all that. No, I'm saying like all that has its value, but I think universal basic income clearly has its benefits, as we see here. Having that safety blanket already in place would definitely been great. Andrew Yang was talking about MMA fighter pay, all these things. I think I mentioned that last week. This is just weird, you know? There's this one restaurant owner here in Wisconsin. He owns a bunch of restaurants here in Wisconsin. And he's arguing that, well, he said he's going to open up his restaurant before the deadline of the ordinance for the restaurants to be closed in the state of Wisconsin. He's going to open up before because, well, one, he doesn't agree with Evers. It's pretty weird. He doesn't agree with Evers, and also this is the part that I found most interesting. He says that the hospitals are empty and only a few zip codes. All right, only a few zip codes. Majority of people of the cases in the state of Wisconsin are African American. All right, so he says only a few zip codes in Milwaukee have been affected by by the coronavirus, and that's because they didn't follow the rules. So he's not gonna like keep his business closed because these people, like these few people in these zip codes, couldn't follow the rules. All right, it's pretty wild. I mean, we all knew what it was. I didn't want to say this. You know why people aren't out there protesting for a rent freeze? Because we're smart enough to stay home if we can. There's a pandemic going on. You're not supposed to be doing dumb shit like that right there. You're acting like a dumbass. In my personal opinion. You're behaving like dumbasses. All right? You're not supposed to be mass gatherings without masks on. You guys are, they're all going to get sick. They're all going to get sick. And if they don't, though, then maybe they proved a point. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So let's hope they all get sick. I hope they don't, because it's not like they independently get sick and don't go around all their family members, and then their family members don't go around other motherfuckers that are fucking as dense as them, think that same way, who don't go around other motherfuckers and don't understand that they keep saying like, yo, you're the most contagious when you show no signs of having the disease. But these people will not practice social distancing because they're fucking idiots. Because I saw this meme that was like, oh, we need to open these gates. And the guy was like, we've been over this, Phil. There's Mongols outside of the gate. And he's like, yeah, but I need to like harvest my tulips. And he's like, I need to feed my tulips. And he's like, or no, I need to harvest my turnips. Whatever. That part is neither here nor there. All right. And he's like, yeah, but we've been over this, Phil. That's how a siege works. And it's like, yeah, but we've been in here for weeks. And it's like, he's like, but the Mongols have barely killed anybody in a while now. And they're like, well, that's because of the wall. And they're like, are you sure? Maybe the Mongols aren't as dangerous as we thought they were. And that's the mindset there, right? People were like, oh, there's no reason to have a quarantine because, oh, the hospitals are empty. There's not a lot of cases right now. There's no reason to have a quarantine because the quarantine is somehow being effective. All right? That's their argument. Because the quarantine is seemingly somehow effective. I haven't been tested for anything. I don't know anyone who's been tested for this shit. So, like, who's been given the test for this? As far as we know, as far as I'm aware, I don't know anyone who's been tested. Like, I wish there was mass tests going around. Test everybody. Let me know. All right. But I don't know anyone who's been tested. I don't know anyone. So they're saying right now, oh, there is, like, the hospitals are empty, even though people haven't been tested. They say it's airborne. I just don't understand the logic. It's like, yo, we're under siege. The wall is protecting us. Like, no, let's open the gates because we've been in here for a while. Like, maybe they're not so bad. It's like, no, the walls, these precautions are what's keeping everybody safe. Let's keep these precautions there. Let's keep doing what it's keeping us safe right now. Let's keep it up. Let's not fuck this up out of. There's no logic. There's people who just I and myself I was honestly thinking beforehand, maybe like during the week, I was trying to think. I was like, man, I don't really hang out with any of my friends at all, like at all. You know what I'm saying? And I was thinking like, man, when I hung out with those people though, would I have been on the other side of this? Is what I'm thinking. That's what I was thinking. I was like, because I was more of a conspiracy theorist. I used to think like pretty out there theories, and I basically automatically had distrust and didn't believe anything the news said. Until maybe around the time Trump started saying fake news, and I was like, oh, maybe the news is saying something. But, so, I used to be crazy or real deep conspiracy theorist, and I still think I am to a degree. But I was trying to think, like, have I changed in some way here? Like, am I looking at this differently than I would have, say, like, 5 years ago? Because, as I said on this podcast, like, this is something that I started to worry about in 2019. You know what I'm saying? I've thought about it since then. This has been going on for a while. And it was going on in other countries, and it gradually the cases started coming out here. And I'm like, yo, it's just, as I've said just before, we're not testing. People haven't been tested. And that's the only reason why the cases are in other places, is that simply no one's been tested for it at the time. And I was thinking, like, there's no way that I could be on the other side of this, is because I've been, like, not very closely, but, like, I've been monitoring this situation since 2019 and, like, worrying about this situation since 2019 and just, like, hoping that it was kind of like an Ebola situation and it would just work its way out before it really became a problem on our homeland, but it wasn't the case. So I've been worried about this for a long time, you know what I'm saying? And I was thinking to myself, like, would I have been on the other side of this? Like, would I have had this distrust? And I was thinking, no. And I saw one of my really close friends that I used to pretty much hang out with every day, and I saw, like, he posted, like, this, like, I think it was, like, an anti-Evers thing or, like, an anti-quarantine thing right now, and it was about how many people the flu have killed, and stating somehow that the coronavirus has only killed about 5,000 people, which is not true at all. I think it killed like 5,000 people like yesterday, like total yesterday, you know? Yeah, that's just a ridiculous claim. And it's just like, I don't know. I'm curious if being in that company, if my opinion would have been somehow swayed or to think that way. I don't think it would have, because this is a situation that I've been personally monitoring. As a UFC fan, it was like on my radar a little earlier because, like, with Weili, I'm a fan of Zhang Weili, and she trains in Wuhan. So this has been in the news for quite some time. Yeah. It's been in the news for quite some time. That's what I saw my boy Rashid posting about this. Like, it was like Evers called for an extension of the stay at home, and he was like, under whose authority? Like, LOL. Like, all this, like, what I deem to be nonsense. And I mean, I don't agree with it, but like, that's still my boy. I was pretty taken aback by, like, this is like a real situation. They're like lying about in China about the fact that it's over or some shit, like they've pretty much stopped it. And there's reports of people like being like they're disappearing. If they come out and say like, "Yo, no, people are still dying," those people disappear. Like that's what the reports are, and it's just wild. It's wild. But I was thinking to myself, like, man, maybe 5 years. Like I was a pretty deep conspiracy theorist. Like maybe I would have been on the other side of this. Like, would I think? Would I be with those other people right now thinking the media is lying to us? It's like, no, man. Because the media, when I was saying to people, yo, this is a problem, at that point, the media was calling it like racist names and saying how it wasn't anything to worry about. When I was worried about it, the news was reporting that it was just like another flu at that point. And everybody stuck to that narrative. These people stuck to that narrative. And even though the news has like, yo, we were wrong, it's worse. Trump said, yo, I was wrong, it's worse. He said it at one point. But y'all were like, nah, it's not worse than the flu. Y'all said that before. So we're not going back on that fact because y'all said it before. That's where they're at with it. And I don't understand. I don't understand. Regardless of how the narrative progresses, they're like, nope, that's my favorite scene. I love this part. No, play that out. I love this part. No, but what about this part when they say that whole part was bullshit? No. I love this part right here. Fuck what they're talking about right now. I love this part. Moving on. My God. I said my notes say, my God, UFC is on again. These niggas is talking about May 9th, they're going to put on UFC 250 or whatever the fight card is going to be called. They were supposed to have UFC 249 yesterday. Did not happen. I was saying that I wished I could have bet against Dana White, and I couldn't find it. Now they have odds. You can bet on whether this upcoming fight, May 9th, will be canceled or not. And it was like, dude, that's all I wanted to bet on. I just wanted to bet on the fact that card was not going to happen. I knew it. And it was never up. And now they have it up for this card. Anywho. So they're saying, Dana White is saying that they will put on a fight card May 9th. They will be the first major sport to be active. That's his goal, to be the very first one. He claims that they can put on fights weekly at the Apex, regardless of the fact that Nevada has currently outlawed combat sports in the state of Nevada. So who knows how that's going to work out. The state of Florida has deemed professional sports essential in the state of Florida, so I'm thinking most likely these fights are going to take place in the state of Florida. The state of Texas is starting to open up parks and trying to ease back into some nonsense. I think it's going to turn out bad. They're opening up parks, starting to get warm outside. More people are going to be outside. More people who probably weren't outside before when it was cooler, just in the Midwest, are going to be outside. People are going to be outside getting sick. We'll see what happens. My introverted ass is, my life hasn't been too much affected, but let's look at this potential fight card. So the potential fight card that could either take place in either Florida, maybe Texas down the line is what I'm saying here. Who knows? Most likely Florida, because they deem professional sports as an essential business, just for entertainment of Americans. I don't understand that whole aspect. We gotta entertain the people. Are you out of your mind? That's not important. Fuck these niggas. Fuck me. Fuck everybody. Fuck y'all if you doubt me. That was organic right there. I did not plan it. That was beautiful. But yeah, I don't see this need like, oh, we gotta entertain people. I was just watching Rose Namajunas fight Jessica Andrade. I was watching that card and I was enjoying myself. All right, y'all don't need to put on new events. You can entertain yourself if you choose to. I was just teaching my wife how to play spades because I know once this shit is over, if we survive, it's gonna be pretty hard to duck them cookouts, and she gotta be sharp. All right. It's going to be real hard to duck them cookouts, and she going to have them spade skills sharp, ladies and gentlemen. Teaching in spades. This what was going on right before here. I had a couple brews. I was like, this is going to turn into me getting pretty drunk. I better record right now before it goes down. And that's where we at, ladies and gentlemen. So the fight card, the potential fight card for May 9th is Tony Ferguson in the main event. No, up. I'm going to go the other direction because if I start with the main event, it's honestly less exciting. You know what I'm saying? It's less exciting as I go, so why even say the rest of the names? So the first fight of the card, you got Charles Rosa versus Bryce Mitchell, who trains in Milwaukee. If I'm not mistaken, trains in Milwaukee. I think he's a Rufus Sport guy. If I'm not, I could be 100% wrong. I'm pretty sure he trains in Milwaukee, so I'll be rooting for that guy. You got Vicente Luque versus Nico Price. That's gonna be a fucking slobber knocker. I'm rooting for Nico Price in there. Just don't take. I'm gonna look more into it. And probably try to talk more about this card. If it seems like it's actually happening as the weeks progress, I'll try to dig more into this card because I am thirsty for fights. As I was saying, I was just watching the card of Rose Namajunas versus Jessica Andrade. I was watching that main card because I'm thirsty for some fights, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll definitely be digging into this card. The third fight of the night is Carla Esparza versus Michelle Waterson, the Karate Hottie, who recently had a fight night main event against Joanna Jędrzejczyk, who was the co-main event on the card with Israel Adesanya, the last pay-per-view card here. So this card is stacked, if you couldn't tell by the third fight. You got the Karate Hottie versus Carla Esparza in the very third fight of this card, so that looks pretty fucking cool. I'm in. That's gonna be a slobber knocker. I got Karate Hottie in that fight. I think her stand up and I like her jiu-jitsu. I think Carla has the wrestling advantage here, but I don't think it'll matter. I think the striking and the jiu-jitsu of Waterson will be too much for Carla Esparza in that one. Again, I'm going to try not to go into too many, I don't have detailed predictions right now, so I don't even want to necessarily, don't take any stock into these predictions right now because I got to look more into them. This is just, my gut feeling about these matchups. Jacare Souza versus Uriah Hall. I'd love to see Uriah Hall pull one off here. Do I care about either fighter? Absolutely not. And it's not like I feel like, as I've said here on this podcast before, I said it before Souza fought, I think, was it Jan Blachowicz? I said that I just feel like Souza fights in slow motion. When he's out there, it looks like he's moving in slow motion. Maybe he's just that much of a counter striker, but I don't feel too entertained. I mean, he's a powerful fighter, but it looks like he's moving in slow motion, and I'm just not too interested in seeing him fight. Uriah Hall, I feel like had the potential of being a superstar, and he showed signs of getting better. So if anything, I guess I'm rooting for Uriah Hall in this fight. I'd like to see him to pull one off. I don't know. Jacare Souza is a beast. All right, don't get me wrong, but when he fights, I feel like he moves in slow motion, and I'm just kind of bored watching it. But he's a fucking beast. He'll knock you the fuck out. He'll knock a lot of people in the top 10 the fuck out, all right? Don't get me wrong here. I just feel like it'll be in slow motion while he's doing so. Next up, Alexei Oleinik versus Fabricio Verdum. I want to see Verdum get one in there. That's going to be a good-ass fight. I mean, these all are going to be good-ass fights. So I'd like to see Verdum get that. You got Greg Hardy versus Jorgen De Castro. So they love Greg Hardy. That's my perspective, and I actually love Greg Hardy. All right, I'm telling you guys that right here, right now. I like Greg Hardy. I think he's pretty good, and I think I like the fact that he's here to fight on this card. He's here to step up and get that moment. I feel like even though he lost against Volkanov, he looked fucking great in that fight. That was his first loss, but he looked fucking great in that fight. He wasn't finished, and I felt like he looked really good out there. He showed me some things, and I say give it a year, all right? Give it a year, and he's ready to fight for the championship. I think he's that good. I think he's progressing that fast. I'm a fan of Greg Hardy, and I think he goes out there and wins this in the first round. I think it's he gets back to business in this one. Next up, you got Jeremy Stephens taking on Calvin Kattar. That's going to be a fucking hard-hitting brawl. I think that ends in one round. I don't know who wins. Maybe Jeremy Stephens, but I don't know. I don't really care. They're both good fighters. I just want to see a good fight. It's going to be a real good fight between the two. It's going to be a fucking slobber knocker. I don't have a pick. I don't really have a favorite. I like them both, to be honest. I like both Jeremy Stephens and Calvin Kattar. I just like to see a good fight. I think it's only going to last one round, but I honestly thought that with Yair and Jeremy Stephens, and we saw how that turned. I mean, it was one round the first time, so I was right that time. But yeah, I don't know. I would take Stephens. I would take Jeremy Stephens in that one for my just gut reaction pick. Donald Cerrone versus Anthony Pettis. I'm gonna be real with you guys here. If you know how I get down, I root for all the fighters from Milwaukee, all the people who train in Milwaukee. So, I mean, as I said, I was rooting for Bryce Mitchell earlier, rooting for Anthony Pettis here. I'm a big fan of Cerrone also. I'm a huge fan of both, you know. But I think, well, Pettis has a win over Donald Cerrone already. This is the rematch. Pettis won the first one, and he's just a little more diverse. And I just think I think he's better now than he was when they fought the first time. So I think he gets back in the win column in this one versus Cowboy Cerrone. Maybe in the second round he finishes him. Should be a really good fight. Then you got Francis Ngannou taking Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Two big Africans who are just known to knock motherfuckers out. I think Ngannou wins this fight. I mean, Rozenstruik is good. He's strong. Rozenstruik's strong. He's a good kickboxer, but I don't think he's as good of an overall mixed martial artist as Ngannou. I think he's at the point Ngannou was when they were trying to hype Ngannou up as this big monster like 2 years ago. I think Rozenstruik, his development is at that point. All right? He's good. He could catch Ngannou, but I think Ngannou's so fucking fast, he is going to knock Rozenstruik out, most likely in the first round. So getting back to business is Ngannou. Then you have, for the first title, 3 belts on the line in this card. Amanda Nunes taking on Felicia Spencer. You guys most likely wouldn't know this, but I'm a huge Felicia Spencer fan, and for whatever reason, I just be hating on Amanda Nunes. I don't be hating. Well, so I think what I actually hate on like people holding 2 belts and holding the divisions hostage. That's just what I hate on. I would prefer it if I think she should drop this belt here. Well, hopefully Felicia Spencer wins this fight. I'm rooting for Felicia Spencer in this fight. I think as we saw in the Jermaine Durandamy fight with Amanda Nunes. Well, Jermaine Durandamy was piecing her up with the stand-up, which I don't think that threat will be there at all from Felicia Spencer. All right, the threat will not be there in the stand-up. But if it goes to the ground, as we know, Felicia Spencer is a jiu-jitsu specialist, and I think if she gets a hold, if she somehow can weather the storm of strikes from Nunes, who's knocking females out in the first round, she can weather that storm and get her hands on Nunes, then we could have a champ. So I'm not hating on Nunes. I just hate the 2 belts. I think she should drop the 145 belt. Just go down to 135. Because at that point, I feel like you would have a lot more women willing to step up to the 145-pound division and fight. It would seem... I think more people would be more interested in fighting Felicia Spencer than they are fighting Amanda Nunes, who's knocking women out within seconds, who's going in against one of the best female kickboxers in Holly Holm, and then knocking her out with pretty much the same signature head kick that she knocked out Ronda Rousey with. I think you could really build up that division if you didn't allow fighters to hold up 2 divisions by holding on to 2 belts. I think if you do the belt, you can have someone move up or move down and fight for another belt. But I think if you win one, like the second belt, like you got to make a decision. All right, you can't then just be like, oh no, I'll defend this belt here, and then if I get hurt, got to get surgery. Well, I'm just off for a year like this Henry Cejudo stuff, and I'm the champion with 2 belts, and I'm off for a year. That's silly. So I be hating on Cejudo, but I'm a big Cejudo fan. I fucks with his gimmick, you know. So in that fight right here, I'm rooting for Felicia Spencer. Hopefully, I say first round submission. I think that's the course of action, is a first round submission. And because Amanda Nunes is known to give up on the ground. She almost got caught with a triangle from Jermaine Durandamy. And if you end up in that same position against Felicia Spencer, it's over. You're going to sleep. So I'm going for Felicia Spencer first round submission in that one. Henry Cejudo taking on Dominic Cruz in his return to fighting. I have seen Dominic Cruz fight. I didn't know who the fuck he was. It was like when I really started to try to like watch every fucking card. He fought Cody Garbrandt and got his ass beat. That was like his last fight, I think. I think it was his last fight, and yeah, he got destroyed in that fight. And then I went back and like saw a video on like his come up through Strikeforce and just like all the battles with Uriah, and I was like, God damn, this man's a legend. I didn't know who Dominic Cruz was. I thought he was just a phenomenal commentator. No, I knew he was an ex-fighter. I didn't know the whole like title history of it all. I didn't know that like how recently he was like the champion of the division, and that like that fight that I saw of Cody, because I saw it and I was like, who's this fake Conor McGregor? When I saw Cody Garbrandt, I thought he was a fake Conor McGregor, and that's when I started watching the fight. And then he beat Dominic Cruz's ass, and I was like, oh shit, this is like a real life fake Conor McGregor right here, because he whooped his ass and won a belt. I didn't know shit about the that weight class. That's when I really started to dig into like every weight class, all the different champions, everybody. Like that was around the time when I was like, because I would say before then I was definitely a casual. There were certain fighters that I followed, but I didn't really like try to follow. I didn't try to follow every card of the UFC and try to watch like the local shows. I wasn't really that invested as I am now, but. So for this fight, Henry Cejudo versus Dominic Cruz, I'm gonna go with Henry Cejudo there. I think Henry Cejudo's a fucking superhero, and I just hope he wins. But I think it could go either way. Main event is, for whatever reason, Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje for the interim belt, and I'm going to go with Tony Ferguson in that one. He just made weight. Business as usual. Tony Ferguson, he's going to keep that win streak going. And, yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys social medias. If you want to follow the podcast at Babylon5. If you want to follow the podcast on Instagram and Twitter, it's at Babylon5pod. If you want to follow my personal accounts, it's at My Name's Jermaine. If you want to email the podcast for whatever reason, it's Babylon5@gmail.com. You can follow the podcast at Babylon5.podbean.com. You can listen to this podcast on Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, nigga, anywhere's podcast stream. And if you motherfuckers are some gamers, if you got an Xbox One, you can go ahead and add me. My gamer tag is SauceBoss414. You can go ahead and check out some merch. It's teespring.com/stores/BOFpod-shop. And if you guys want to watch me, if you don't want to play with me, you just want to watch. If you just want to watch, if you don't want to play, and you just want to watch, you can go to twitch.tv/Babylon5. You can watch me play some games. Why not? I'm playing some Skyrim, playing some UFC. Might play a little 2K sometime, one day, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But this is episode 35. Thank you guys so much for rocking with me. I don't know why I said it like that. But, yeah, I'm up out of here. It's your boy, Jermaine Event. It's Babylon 5 Podcast, episode 35. I don't have a name for it yet, but I'll have it soon. All right. See you guys soon. Peace. Stay safe.